Termites! Welcome, the pub is open! It's open with what? Fire! It's episode 24, can you believe that? I know. What are we drinking today? Just a little Michelob Ultra. Another fine product from Anheuser-Busch. Out of what? My Ole Smoky Moonshine glass. I think I've told you guys about the Ole Smoky Moonshine place in Gatlinburg. Oh, it's great. Moonshine's just the best, but always be careful because you think you're drinking Hunch Punch and you're really drinking gasoline. And you will be doing, it's nothing to mess with, but it's certainly fun for a flight. You can buy a flight of tiny, tiny moonshine shots for like, I don't know, $7 or something totally reasonable. And that's in Gatlinburg. If you don't know where that is, that's in Tennessee. Okay? You can go to Hurricane Mills and see Loretta Lynn's house and then go to Johnny Cash's Museum in Nashville. Keep on going and get to the moonshine place.
Then you see Dolly's.
You go to Dolly's, Dollywood. I don't think there's alcohol there, so it's probably not something I'd be interested in. But, and then people are like, why don't you have some beers before you go? Not the same. I don't know, but it's family friendly. And I don't know, maybe there is alcohol. I've never looked into it.
It's a dry county.
I think it is a dry county, yeah. Sevierville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah. It's, Disneyland, I used to do the joke in my act where I couldn't find a beer. I took my nephews and I couldn't find a beer anywhere. And then it's a whole joke in my act. But anyway, I said, I don't ever want to come to this place again as an adult. Well, I do now because it's a vaccination center in California. Disneyland has turned into a massive vax center. And I said to my friend Bob, who's going to take his mom, I'm like, that's the first time I've ever really wanted to go to Disneyland. And I will pay whatever it costs to get into Disneyland if there's vaccines there. But I'm not of that age group yet, thank God. But, there you go. So that's what I'm drinking. Look what I made for you guys. Okay, this is in our junk food gas station shitty food segment. For those of you like me, John Heffron, calling him out, palate of a 9-year-old. This is mac and cheese, cheesy jalapeno, microwavable, and I must say, it's good. Kids love it. I like it as an adult, and I shouldn't like it because it's that fake powder or whatever. It's good though, and it does have a jalapeno kick, I will say, not false advertisement. Good job. Nutritional value, negative.
It's a Cheeto though.
It's Cheeto. It's the Cheetos one, and it's not as orangey. It's a better color than that other thing I made. Oh, I can't say I made anything. And look what Ruffles made. This is all around, see, it's the NBA potato chip. They're over football already. Can't believe they still aren't Super Bowl. Hot Wings, Ruffles, Double Crunch. I haven't tasted them. I will taste them. Wow.
Good?
It's really good. I don't know that I'm tasting hot wings, but I'm tasting, it almost tastes like sour cream and onion. I don't know. They're trying to get too fancy, but I'm sure when you walk by in the grocery store and you go, oh, hot wings, that sounds good. They're good. They're fine. I don't think they taste like hot wings, but whatever. Next week, I'm going to be making this in our mac and cheese thing, because now that I'm on it, when in the grocery store, I've seen the other ones, and this is Velveeta's, which I would trust more than Cheetos, I think, and it has bacon in it. So this takes work, though. This is microwavable. This I actually have to cook. So nutritional value, negative. It is cooking to me. So that's what we're going to be working on for that. All right. The candles are lit. A lot of updates this week, termites, a lot. But we're going to open this up with another quote from Dolly Parton. I liked this. Her Twitter feed is good. It's very good. This, I agree, 90%. I won't do the super hillbilly accent because she tweeted me and said hers is more, she left those hills in 1965. And so I've only heard her sing. I haven't heard her talk. But apparently she has a church online called the Fun House, and I'm going to go look at that later on today. But it's not really, I don't know, she does scriptures and, things that Catholics don't do, but maybe I'd learn something, maybe I'd learn something. We were just taught rules that some man made up in Rome. Yeah, straight from the Vatican. Breaking news. Purgatory is no longer exist. Remember when they dropped that one, fellow Catholics? They canceled purgatory for like a minute. I think they brought it back. They also canceled St. Christopher for a while. No. We all bought the necklace. You can cancel an obscure saint we've never heard of, that maybe we didn't all go buy his medallion. But no, you can't. Breaking news out of the Vatican. She wrote, please don't post on my page if it's code, foreign language, or no profile photo. I will be forced to block you. I'm not young and cool. I'm like Uncle Joe, old and tough as hell. Now, see, I agree with her. I don't like it when people post on my page. I don't know what code means to Stella, but I know what she's talking about. Foreign language, I don't get, then I just think it's about, I used to block the no profile photo people also, until I realized a lot of that's just older people that are trying to get in the game and they don't know how to not be an egg. So I just, my mom has a picture on hers. She's Mary V. Madigan. I forget. Oh, she's V. Maddie. Something on Twitter like that if you want to follow my mom.
The Queen of Love and Beauty.
She's not at the Queen of Love and Beauty. That's what my dad calls her.
Right.
Especially when he's being bizarrely sarcastic. Oh, the Queen of Love and Beauty says we're not going here or there or wherever, because my mom would never go anywhere if she didn't have to. She's not very social. I do, the no profile picture though, I've given a little leniency to, because I do think there's a lot of old people that have heard about Twitter and now they're trying to get into it. And I want to encourage the people to go to the Twitter versus the facial book, which brings us to, we're going to do an update. You know I don't like to be political, but the 3-hour American Revolution we had needs a little summary, I feel. And Sheryl Sandberg, everybody familiar with Sheryl? Facebook COO. She said on Monday that the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol was largely organized on other internet services. She said the company has no plans at the moment to lift its indefinite ban on Trump. She also said she has no intentions to leave the country. Now, I know what she's going to try and do here, because that's what they do. We, again, took down, this is what she says, QAnon, Proud Boy, I'm just going to call it Q, because I can't, every time I look at this, I'm like, Q, Anon, Alcoholic Anonymous. I see Anonymous, Anon. Let's just call it Q. We took down Q, Proud Boys, Stop the Steal, anything that was talking about possible violence last week, as she said in a live stream interview with Reuters. Our enforcement is never perfect. Oh, that is like the understatement. And I'm going to read you some stuff in a minute. I think these events were largely organized on platforms that don't have our abilities to stop hate, don't have our standards, and don't have our transparency. Are you shitting me? They still have Holocaust denier pages. I read a whole article about it because it diverted to another page that they don't give a shit. Nobody's paying attention. But there were still plenty of groups that were able to post on Facebook about storming the Capitol building before the riot last week. For example, CNBC found that the Facebook group for Political Action Committee called on its 80,000 followers to march on the Capitol on January 5th, the day before the riot. Well, there you go, Cheryl. The group removed the post after CNBC inquiry. So it took CNBC getting into it. Sandberg added that the company continues to work. I didn't even print out the rest of it, but these are some. So my friend Kathy is a lifelong Republican. She is not a Trumpy though. And her and I, after we talked about this, because Kathy's more of a Facebook person than I have ever been, and she likes it, and I prefer Twitter and Instagram, as I've repeatedly said to the point of ad nauseum, so I'll stop saying it. But I don't really, I have my fan page on Facebook, and I have to, I do participate, but not as much as the other ones. And I don't really read anything other than my fan page, because I used to do a joke when I was still a stand-up comedian about, even when I meet people, the Instagram people are just like Instagram. They're like, can we get a picture? And then they take my picture and they run away. So those people are great. And then the Twitter people are just like Twitter. They only have 2 sentences to say. They keep it under 130 characters or whatever it is. They're very smart, and they just want to say something and then they leave. This is a backstage, because sometimes I pull people off Twitter and Instagram to say if they tweet me or they seem like fans or whatever, then I don't do meet and greets where people pay, because that would make me feel uncomfortable. I'm not judging it. It's just not my thing. I'd rather just surprise people off Twitter and Instagram. But sometimes the Facebook people, they will talk literally for like an hour. And I'm too Midwest polite to stop them in the middle of their 47,000 minute story. And some of the stories are interesting and fun, but I do, eventually have to say there's other people here. Facebook is long-winded, yes. People don't know how to edit. So this morning I had a bagel. Normally I go to Jonathan's Bagels, but it seemed to be closed, got the COVID. So then I had to go over to Mark's Bagels, and I think he's breaking rules because there are a lot of... Oh my God. It's the progressive ad. No one cares about where you got your bagel or how you liked it. That's how I feel about Facebook. So Kathy and I said the facial book claims that their stuff wasn't, doing anything bad, that they got most of it, let's say, right? So Kathy sent me some. These are from the facial book. Breaking. And this is being recorded on a Sunday morning, as most of you know. And yes, I will have a Sunday morning beer. Why? Because I'm unemployed. What? And it's Sunday, fun day, and football's on. And so help me God, if there's a revolution this afternoon, I will definitely consider them non-patriots, because the football playoffs are on. And even if you don't care about football, you should be aware of that and know that people are doing shit. All right. Here's one. Trump will not be at the inauguration. This is from Brian. I don't know who Brian is. He will be at a secure location, delivering a worldwide address by way of Space Force's global broadcast satellite. Going exactly as planned. Biden's, Clinton's, Hanks, Tom Hanks. I guess because he's narrating something. Bush, Pence, and more will be attending. All will be arrested. What? So they have convinced themselves on the facial book, some people, that the inauguration's a mass arrest thing, like they do. The cops do that sometimes when they're trying to get a bunch of drug people. Let me see this one. This is another one. Okay. Biden inauguration will be a mass arrest event. This is a different one. Sources tell Space Force will cut the feed from the inauguration and initiate GBS. I don't know what that is. Okay. He didn't mean GPS either. GBS, Global Broadcast. Oh, Global Broadcasting System. Allowing Trump to announce crimes against humanity committed by attendees to the world without cover story. Swamp would flee after first arrest. Now, don't tell me, Cheryl. These are people that my friend Kathy somehow finds on Facebook. I don't know how. And then I sent her one because I found this one. I got to blow it up because I'm blind. Trump had to exhaust all means legally before operation could commence. He gave everyone a fair chance to come clean, and they refused. His press release, I'm going to read it in my Baby Shoe Madigan voice. Okay, let's start over. Baby Shoe Madigan is in the house. Trump had to exhaust all means legally before operation could commence. He gave everyone a fair chance to come clean, and they refused. His press release of smooth transition did not include the word concede, as he has no plans to do so. Rather, there will be a smooth transition to power to his new cabinet staff and VP General Flynn. They think Mike Flynn's gonna take over. Oh, I know. I'll only do a couple more because then we're gonna move on. Guy at work, his son just got out of Special Forces. He called his buddy that's still in and said some of them are in the White House now. They said, hold on to your pants and stay close to home. The military will be running the show on Sunday. That's today, because martial law will be declared. 2-week minimum of supplies, aka toilet paper, which I have plenty of what I call toilet paper mountain, because I thought I thought the Rapture and my nieces and nephews were coming, but they're not. This is my favorite one. I sent this one to Kathy, and I found this on the facial book. Cheryl, note to Cheryl. This is my all-time favorite one. I read somewhere that this is all a setup, and Biden is going to be assassinated. That's how they spelled it. ASSONATE, which I guess is a colonoscopy in front of the world.
Yes.
And it's going to be blamed on Trump supporters. Y'all stay your happy patriotic butts at home. Okay. So Cheryl, let's not act like Facebook has its shit together, okay? You know, it's fun for people. My parents love it. My dad really loves it. Last thing on this. First of all, the guy that they call the Zip Kaitai is from Nashville. And apparently he went rioting with his mama. They drove, which goes back to Stella Parton's tweet that they're all mama's basement losers. He went with his mama. Frighteningly enough, his mama is reasonably close to my age. And I thought, wow, I could have a kid that old that could be rioting and then I'd have to go with him. But then my brother said, so they arrested him. And yesterday they arrested mama somewhere in downtown Nashville. I don't know where. And my brother said, can you imagine rioting with mom? Now, granted, our mom is older than this lady, mama. But I said, Patrick, did you forget, young man? So back, I don't know when it was, whenever the Iraq War was about to start, I was working in D.C. telling jokes and minding my own business. And there was a club there called the Improv. And on Fridays and Saturdays, I had 2 shows a night. And my parents called and said, we're coming to D.C. to protest the Iraq War. And we're going to be staying with you. I'm like, what? Yeah, there's a big, I go, are you crazy? They were like 68, I'd say. I go, Dad, you guys you have this backwards. You were supposed to protest in the 60s, not when you're in your 60s. She has a bad knee. You know, she ended up having a knee replacement, but at the time, we called her Hopalong. I go, what are we going to do with Hopalong? I can't carry her. I mean, we're the same size human, but I can't lift my own body weight. I can't. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. So I got him a hotel room next to mine. And I was like, you know, just FYI, I have to go to work tonight. Oh, yeah, we're going to the show. We're going to the show. So I said, do you think this matters? Because George Bush is going to attack Iraq, whether Jack and Vicky Madigan stand outside or not. Well, it's not about that. I know he's going to do that, but I want to feel like I can say, well, I said I thought it was horseshit. We're attacking the wrong goddamn country. If you want to attack the people that attacked us, you have to attack Saudi Arabia. Okay. You know, not that I disagree, but I think I'm of the age group where protesting is more like Lewis's thing. Like, I used to do a joke in my act. I don't even know what I would protest against. Like, if they said prohibition was coming back, I'd be like, all right, where do I got to go? I'm going to go to Walgreens and get a sign that says, you lose, no booze, or I don't know. I'll think of something to put on my sign. But I'm like, okay. So they came and we marched. And there were over 100,000 people, I would say. It was pretty, but again, cynical, you know, child of the 70s, 80s, I don't see how this does anything. And he kept saying, it's not about that. I'm like, all right. But we started walking, and then I was staying behind with Hopalong because she couldn't walk that fast. And then there's all these extra groups that get mixed in protest. And there was one group that said, they had big signs, bears in Alaska for gay marriage. And I don't think my dad knew that a bear in gay guy talk means a hairy, bigger man. He thought that it was actual bears. I go, Dad, why would you think that, first of all, do we know, are there gay bears? I don't even know if there are real bears that are gay. And then straight bears, as far as I know, don't get married. So how would gay bears? At some point, he was in the middle of that group, and I had my mom, and I go, look at him. He doesn't even know he's in the pod, and he's not even a bear. Like, he doesn't have a beard or a mustache. He's not a hairy, big person. He's like a, 5'9", 180 guy. But then at another point, we're walking around D.C., like towards the Capitol, the Capitol, then the White House, blah, blah, blah. At some point, I see my dad run. And I don't think I'd seen him run since I was like 8. Like, he does stuff. He's active. Like, he's a farm guy, lifting stuff, digging things. But he's not a runner. And it was weird. It was like watching a cat cry. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? And my mom goes, I know why he's running over there. And I go, why? What's over there? She goes, Susan Sarandon. He's always had a crush on her. What? And I said, Susan Sarandon is crazy, Mom. She goes, oh, I know. He knows it too. But I think he just thinks this is his only chance in life to see her up close. So he ran like a football field, like Rudy. He ran like Rudy so that he could stand there and stare at Susan Sarandon. And I said, you know, I don't know, this protest thing with our pod, Hop Along, and Jack Madigan is getting a little spinning out of control. It's also, I looked at my watch, I'm like, it's 4:30. I have a show at 8, which means we need to start marching back, blah, blah, blah. So yes, I could picture going to a riot with my mom, which my brother forgot they did that. It's something I will say I will never forget, and I believe I have pictures of it, and I've had to go to 2 wakes during COVID, and now they have, at wakes, they have TV screens where the pictures just keep coming, and I'm totally putting their Iraq protest in their goodbye picture thing. I've already planned it. They don't know that, because then they'd think that means I think they're gonna die soon, which it doesn't. It just means I was organizing pictures, and I found those. So there you go. This is our last thing, and then we move on from all this. A lot of people, the Q people, which, like, somebody said not all Trump fans are this crazy. I said, I know that. I have plenty of fans, plenty of friends that have voted for Trump for economic reasons, whatever. They're not the people rioting. Those people aren't everybody. Everybody knows that. But when we're talking about those people, they do happen to be Trumpies, unless you would believe they were Antifa, which I think would be extremely insulting to the people who put so much work into looking like they're a Trumpy. Especially the shaman guy with horns and I called it rabbit horns with fur. He says he's a shaman. They've all been arrested, a shitload of them. Party's over, blah, blah, yada, blah, blah. Get a lawyer, just like I said on Twitter as it was happening live. You morons you're snitching on yourself. You're being photographed. They all posted it on, where, Cheryl? On the Facebook. That's where they posted their victory. He is in jail in Arizona and requested organic food. And I would say, no, dude. You know why? Because it's jail. It's not Cracker Barrel. And yes, I know that Cracker Barrel probably doesn't have anything organic. I should have said Whole Foods. I get it. Point is, it's not a restaurant. They gave it to him, though, which I was surprised. That's where I do have probably my right-wing side. No, it's jail. Tough shit. I wouldn't, no. And then I go, well, he's not eating. Oh, well. He'll eat when he's hungry enough. Mr. Shaman will take off his rabbit horns and eat a cheeseburger at some point. I guarantee it. And if it gets to the point where he's dying, that's a whole different situation. Q fans, this is great, believe that Donald Trump sent them a secret message in Morse code during his video where he condemned the Capitol riot. He issued a video last Wednesday night to condemn the violent mob, which apparently Ivanka made him do, and then he ad-libbed the part at the end where he goes, we love you, you're all patriots, and I'm sure she was literally having an aneurysm because that was not part of the script, and then it just ruined the whole apology thing, this calm down thing, because he's like, you're wonderful people, you're great, you're very big, you're bigly, you're huge. During his video speech, which was posted to the White House Twitter account, Trump said that the rioters were not his true supporters and slammed the attack as a calamity. I unequivocally condemn the violence. They have no place in our country and no place in our movement. Here's what happens. Like, to some of the Trump people, not all, we all know that, but to some of them, he is a cult leader. And what happens when a cult ends? Well, I think we all know. There's usually only 3 options. It disbands, like King Doe in San Diego, the Hale-Bopp Comet people. At one time, they were up to like 3,000 members. By the time it got to Let's Kill Ourselves, there were 30 to 50. It either disbands, everyone kills themselves, Jim Jones, or somehow they die, David Koresh, or the leader dies and it just fades. Or they're arrested, aka Charles Manson's people. So if it ends, then what with the Q people? And what if this shit doesn't come true? What if today there is no martial law? Then they pivot. But you can only pivot so many times till you're out of shit. I don't know. Maybe Q can keep going with it and then say, oh, he's down in Florida planning stuff. Don't worry. Somebody already said, they moved the inauguration to March. Like, all right, just it'll fade, I would imagine, but maybe not. Anyway, in the video, Trump can be seen to move his hand 4 minutes and 20 seconds in, and Q devotees believe he was sending them a message. The bizarre claim was initially made on a pro-Q forum called The Great Awakening. Check, never heard of it. Where the now I'm gonna go look at that. Where the poster claimed that Trump's hand movements at that specific time represented dash dash dot dash man car. What was the thing? The 5-4 thing, which represents the letter Q in Morse code. Oh, so he did dash dash dot dash, and that meant. The topic was then picked up on numerous Telegram channels, which have gained huge numbers of users since the Twitter purged Q account links on Telegram as well as... a social media site. It was also posted on a social media site called Gab, which I've never heard of, and I've had almost a year off. How'd I miss Gab? Q followers are discussing what they think Trump is about to send them a message using the emergency broadcast system. So when all of our phones go off, it's not an Amber Alert. It's going to be this. So he can get around what they see as censorship by the big tech firms. Oh. Others have been predicting there will be a national power blackout, which will signal the start of Trump's plan to overturn what they see as the deep state. You know who's not part of the deep state? Who's not part of the deep state? The MyPillow guy. What the fuck is wrong with that man? Minnesota? And he didn't even make a good pillow. Have you ever tried one? I have, because for a while, I don't remember, some hotel, some chain on the road said, and I didn't understand how this hookup went around. They're like, you want to try my pillow? Sure, why not? It was like to get you to buy one, I guess. I don't know, but I didn't have any intention. I already like my pillows, and I don't like spongy pillows, but I don't even know how that guy, but anyway. It is thought that Q followers played a key role in the violent storm of the Capitol Hill and take over the building. Thought? Yeah, they had shirts that said Q. Did you all miss that? You can't say thought when we have pictures of it. You have to say Q followers played a role. You don't have to say how many, but you got to say, yeah, they were there. It said it on their shirt. Or did they just happen to have a shirt with a giant Q on it? Oh my God. The group has seen its popularity rise over the past 12 months, which in the past received implicit backing by Trump. Because they asked Trump what he thought of Q. He goes, I don't know. They seem to like me. And they're against worldwide pedophilia. So I like them. He knows. It's the same way he knew who David Duke was. He knows. It's just what he's going to say to give the dog whistle, which isn't even a whistle anymore. It's just a scream and a holler. But many of its supporters became angry. We know why they're mad. The Q faithful are still clinging onto the belief that there will be some unspecific event that will topple Biden's inauguration. And then they have a picture of the Q. Oh, the rabbit ear guy, I never saw this. He had a sign that said, Q sent me. So, all right, that's just a recap of the American Revolution. Most of them have been arrested, and they're in jail, and they're crying, and now they're saying Trump told me to do it. What was I supposed to do? It was a direct order from the president. Well, I'm sorry. You're not in the military. You don't got to do what any president says if you don't want to. Moving on to a little news about Dolly. Listen to this. How great would this be? Tennessee lawmaker introduced his bill to add statue of Dolly Parton to the state capitol grounds. Great. A Democrat in Tennessee legislature introduced a bill on Tuesday to add a statue of country music icon Dolly Parton to the state's capitol grounds. Representative Mark Windle's legislation calls for the creation of a fund for the design, construction, and installation of a statue, which will be added to the grounds. It will be financed by gifts, grants, and other donations. Last year, well, if Dolly wants one, I sent her $10 for her birthday to go to Waffle House, but maybe she could throw it in this pile if she doesn't want to go to Waffle House. History should be forgotten. History should not be forgotten, but we don't need to glamorize those who don't deserve our praise. Instead, let its honor, because last year thousands of people signed a petition to replace statues of Confederate leaders in Tennessee with the 74-year-old singer-songwriter. Right, or how about, well, I guess Elvis was from Tupelo, so Mississippi he couldn't be, even though Memphis, he lived in Memphis. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. So he's trying for that. I don't know how that gets voted on. I don't understand government like that. Update! So, how about this? GM, General Motors, yay, General Motors, which makes the wonderful Yukon. Although I still drive a Mercury. Mariner, check that, 2007. What, bitches? I love it. General Motors has unveiled a flying car concept, and it looks like, just after I was bitching last week about Orlando making a flying hub landings place for flying cars that we don't even have, GM, they have a concept car. You have to go Google what it looks like. It is awesome. It looks, though, like it should be attached to, like, you know, at a carnival where I can't explain it. You got to go look at it. It doesn't have an official name, but it's designed to be a single-seater electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Then I just pictured my mom in one because she'd have to have her own. It's a single-seater, and she drives. My dad doesn't let that happen if he's in the car, but she does drive, and to watch my mom operate one of these would probably be the greatest day of my life. I would take off any kind of work I had, rearrange any kind of schedule, and pay any admission price to watch. Jack, I can't find where it starts. Jack. The vehicle was unveiled as part of Cadillac's Halo portfolio of designs. It's a long way from becoming a practical. Yeah, it's a long way away. Well, we better fucking hurry up because Orlando is already building an airport for these. They have few of its mechanics figured out. Has a few. Oh, well, okay. Well, we're gonna need. Yeah, it's gonna have. It's gonna be battery, electric motor, similar to a drone. You know, I've thought about that. Like, I've seen enormous drones, and not that you would do this, but weight-wise, if you tied a kid to one, it'd probably fly, right? Isn't it just a weight issue?
What?
Well, like my friend Ron, the comedian, I bought Ron a drone, and it wasn't cheap. It was like $1,500 because he let me stay at his house for like a month because I was in between moving, and he let me golf at his fancy thing, and I never had to pay anything, and I felt, you know, like I should get him something as a gift, even though he wasn't at that house. Well, sometimes he was, but whatever. I got him, and it was a big-ass thing, which he then proceeded to get high and just ram it into Holmes. I'm like, oh, man, don't. You're ruining. He's like, I'm not trying to hit shit. It's just, I don't know. This is too hard. And I agreed. It was all on the iPad. I'm like, dude, I don't do any of this stuff. Yeah. I didn't even understand remote control shit when I was a kid. Like, it always just broke and batteries, and then my parents are bitching, how many batteries? Oh, we gotta go to the hardware store. Too much of a thing. But anyway, I'm saying, like, the drone I got for Ron, he wanted to attach a bag of weed to it and fly it to his friend's house. And then the drone, he would call his friend and say, go out in your front yard. And then his friend could have a gift of weed because he's another pot guy. And I thought, well, I don't see why we can't tape.
Children.
Well, if we could tape a bag of pot, I mean, that's very light. I get it. But that wasn't the biggest. By far, this was like Best Buy's not their biggest drone. It would be on the smaller, cheaper side of what they can be. If you had a really big one, not that you would. But wait, let's say a doll instead of a child. Couldn't you tape one and then see if it would work? And wouldn't an electric car eventually just be a larger version of that? Thank you. That's the end of my science section. That's the end of my science section. Science with Aunt Cat. Come on, who wouldn't like that?
God.
A couple.
Baby alive.
Yeah. Come on, that'd be fun. I think so. Update.
God.
Oh my God. All right, termites, this is going back. Do you guys remember when we talked about Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos and the HBO thing we all watched about Elizabeth Holmes? Update. Because I'm fascinated. I don't even care about anything that's going on in Silicon Valley because 90% of the time I don't even understand it. But, you know, techie stuff, whatever. But I do understand what I think is a sociopath/psychopath, of which I think Elizabeth Holmes is one. Just my opinion, so Liz, no suing. Just my opinion. Also, as soon as you watch that show in her fake deep voice, well, I'm here to talk about my blood testing kit. I'm sorry, were you recently strangled? Because that's what it sounds like. Nobody sounds like that. And her voice doesn't even match her physical body. Like, anyway, here's the update. Those of us who love to slow down and gawk at the car wreck known as Elizabeth Holmes' Theranos scandal, me, this lady, have not heard much of Holmes's deep fake voice lately. You may recall in October, her attorneys filed 6 motions to have all of her charges dismissed. Yeah, good luck with that. All 6 were laughed out of court. Her trial was recently delayed until 2021, July, because of COVID. Because of the COVID. Pfft, what are you, British? Who says that? Because of the COVID. How about because of COVID? But Holmes's attorney, who must realize they're never going to get paid, right? Question mark. Yeah, these people that take these gigs without paycheck coming, whores. They want the publicity. That's what they want, and that's why they do it. Cue up Rudy Giuliani. I mean, what are you doing? Trumpy is known for not paying his bills. He sure as shit ain't paying you. And then last week they said, oh, he told people not to pay Rudy. I doubt Rudy's been getting paid anyway. You may have a pile of checks, but try and cash them. Anyway, Holmes's attorney and federal prosecutors are in the pretrial phase where they're submitting filings to U.S. District Court Judge Edward Davalier, arguing over what should and shouldn't be considered as evidence in the upcoming trial. On Friday, 23 filings were submitted on both sides. On Holmes's defense end, her attorneys argued that damning text messages and emails should not be considered, according to the New York Post. Yeah, well, I call bullshit on that. That's evidence. That's part of this. These include Theranos' lab director. This is a text he sent. I'm feeling pressured to vouch for results that I cannot be confident in. He was quickly fired and replaced with alleged co-conspirator Sunny Balwani's personal dermatologist, who had no lab background and rarely showed up for work. Well, didn't that guy just hit a pay dirt? I don't even know anything about it. You're going to give me a check? In another filing reported by CNBC, her attorneys went with, but everybody does it defense, arguing other Silicon Valley startups use similar practices of exaggerating promises to attract investor capital, and positive media attention. The other people did it thing doesn't never work. These lawyers are taking her for a ride, or maybe she's taking them for a ride. She's not going to pay them anyway. But prosecutors submitted another filing Monday detailing some pretty bad alleged destruction of evidence once Team Theranos knew the gig was up. Listen to this shit. Tech site The Register reports that Holmes and company destroyed a SQL database that the feds had requested. They destroyed a whole database. And that would have supposedly shown that Theranos' quick prick blood test was total quack science. Theranos' TT3 blood test results were so inaccurate, it was essentially a coin toss whether the patient was getting the right results. Prosecutors, the data was devastating. And this data disappeared shortly after being subpoenaed, according to the feds. If this lady doesn't go to jail, then nobody does. And I have a feeling she won't. I don't know why. I just feel like somehow she's going to snake out of this, because sociopaths and psychopaths are really good at sneaking out of things and snaking out of it. On or about August 31st, 3 months after a federal grand jury issued a subpoena requesting a working copy of this database, the LIS, Laboratory Information System, was destroyed, prosecutors charged. The government had never been provided with the complete records contained in the list, nor given the tools which were available within the database to search for critical evidence, as all Theranos' blood test with validation errors. The filing goes on to describe the ways the database destruction was completely intentional, all of which are consistent with this particular Silicon Valley tragic comedy. I don't know if I'd call it a comedy. But there's heartbreaking aspects to this too. We do justifiably see the Theranos scandal as a source of amusement and will ultimately make a great movie. It's already a movie. But there's human heartbreak, anxiety, and medical risk for patients. One patient got this is the bat. Like, this is fun to watch because it's taking a psychopath down. But on the other hand, a lot of bad things went on while she was doing this bullshit. One patient got a bogus Theranos test saying she had miscarried when she had not.
Oh my God.
Oh my God is right. And then if I thought I miscarried, well, then I'd start drinking again.
Now you got trouble.
Now I'm pregnant again? Oh my God. Another woman got a test said she was not pregnant when she was. Oh God. Another patient said that her breast cancer had returned when it had not. There was one, too, I believe, in this movie that I saw where she told somebody they had AIDS. Well, HIV positive, and they weren't. So they're saying, it's great to see her go down, but it was also a lot of bad things that happened there. But she destroyed a database. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you don't get in a lot of trouble with that. Update! I'm a little obsessed with Pompeii, which is weird because that volcano happened in 79 AD. So it's a long, long, long time ago. But it freaks me out because I'm not even looking for this shit. It's not like I have a Google alert for Pompeii. They found the bodies of a man and his slave unearthed from the ashes at Pompeii. The amount of shit I see on Pompeii, it's as if that volcano erupted like 4 weeks ago. We found a salad bar. That's what they found in the last thing I told you guys about. Not even a salad bar, like a hot kitchen salad bar, cafeteria type, outdoor cafeteria type. This time, skeletal remains of what believed to have been a rich man and his male slave attempting to escape death from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago have been discovered in Pompeii. Officials at the Archaeological Park in Italy said Saturday parts of skull and bones of 2 men were found during excavation of the ruins from which was an elegant villa with a panoramic view of the Mediterranean Sea on the outskirts of the ancient Roman city destroyed by the volcanic eruption in 79 AD. It's the same area where a stable with the remains of 3 harnessed horses were excavated in 2017. Oh, this is so awful. They said the men apparently escaped the initial fall of ash from Mount Vesuvius and then died due to a powerful volcanic blast that took place the next morning. Can you imagine? It's so horrifying. And it happens at nighttime, so it's even more like, not spectacular, but, and you survive that, and then you wake up, you're like, wow, that was fucked up. And then it happens again. I mean, that would so suck. The later blast apparently invaded the area from many points surrounding and burying victims in the ash. This is the part, though, where they think they're, a man and his slave, because one guy had one guy's disc in his back were compressed. They thought he was a young man who did manual labor because his back was all messed up. He was only like 25, and then the other guy was like 40, and he seemed to be like fine. But it's just crazy. They're still finding stuff. I mean, is there no concerted effort? Like, okay, here's what we should do, and then just do that. I feel like every week they're like, oh shit, you're not gonna believe it. Somebody was put in a swimming pool. We're back to lighter topics.
Good.
Meaning what? Animals that can kill you in your home state.
Great.
Kentucky. What do you think's going to kill you there, Paddles?
Rabid chicken. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Rabid Kentucky Fried Chicken. It could.
Thanks.
That's not the winner, though.
Oh.
I've driven them back roads for the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and I've seen some houses, if we would want to call them that. Let's call them shacks with a shitload of flags that I'm not familiar with. And then I have to Google the flags, and then one is creepier than the next. So I would think somebody in that shack could kill me. Kentucky, what could kill me? Backwoods hillbilly.
What?
Well, I thought about it.
Come on.
No, that's not what it really says.
Yeah, well, that's what I would say, but...
That's what I would say. I did think, what if I get a flat tire? Here's the thing about super rednecks, and I know because I grew up with them. If, let's say I have a flat tire and I pull over and some super rednecky guy comes up in a truck, let's say there's 2 of them, one of 2 things are going to happen. They're either going to help me fix my flat tire or they're going to rape me. There's no in between. And there's no telling till you get close. You got to get kind of, I feel like I got to get close up and have a conversation before or I run, which they probably couldn't catch me because I'm scrappy, or I let them fix the tire. Anyway, no. Kentucky, and not all of Kentucky's like that. Please don't email. Kathleen, have you been to Louisville? Yes, I love it. Lexington, love it. I like Kentucky, although the roads are horrible. And every time, here's me driving through Kentucky. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Fuck Mitch McConnell. Just because of the roads. I don't even know what else he has done or has not done for the state of Kentucky, but he has not fixed their roads. And if you drive from Missouri to Tennessee, Missouri, pretty good. Illinois, fine, that part. Tennessee, fine. Kentucky shit show. Oh, my friend Bob's calling. No, Bob. I wonder if his mom got his vaccine at Disneyland. Here's what's going to kill you in Kentucky. Black bears. CDC claims that in Kentucky, the animal most likely to kill you is a large mammal. There are a few options in Kentucky, aside from poisonous spiders and venomous snakes, that also call that state home. Although deaths are uncommon, black bears, mountain lions, and deer can all pose a threat to human. First mountain lion sighting since the Civil War took place in 2015, and the cat was shot soon after being spotted. The Missouri Department of Conservation, until recently, denied that there were mountain lions in Missouri. They just flat out said, no, there's not. And I know enough people that hunt that they're like, yeah, there is. Well, then what? Why do you think the Conservation Department all of a sudden got honest? Not calling them all out, because they do a good job. But they were wrong about that. And you know what proved them wrong? When we got tree cams and they became popular, boom! There's mountain lions.
Thanks.
Yeah. And no more lying about what's out there now. It's not lying. I just think they thought it was no big deal. They're moving through usually, which is true. They are just, I don't think they really live there, like in Missouri. I think they're on their way. Maybe they're going to the Iowa State Fair. They're heading north, where it's not as hot, probably. Maybe they're going to Louisiana. I don't know. Mardi Gras. Louisiana. Paddles, what do you think's going to kill you there?
Alligator.
Alligator. No, and I would have thought that too.
Snake.
Nope. That would have been my second guess.
I don't know.
You won't get it.
Thanks.
It's just weird for Louisiana.
Some kind of cat.
Not a cat. CDC lists the animal most likely to kill you in the state of Louisiana as flying, stinging insects.
What?
Hornets and wasps are a big concern in Louisiana. They do have shit that flies around down there that you could like tape something to its back and it would still fly.
I would be more concerned about a gator.
I've seen flying insects that if I could control the insect, I could tape a cigarette on it and fly it to Ron's house. A real cigarette, not pot. Hornets and wasps are a big concern in Louisiana, and partially due to the sting repeatedly without losing their stinger. Bees, on the other hand, die after one sting since their barbed stinger is pulled out of their body once. One exterminator got a little more than he bargained for in a shed in Patterson, Louisiana. Honeybees usually keep their colonies to under 100 members, but hornet colonies can grow almost endlessly. The nest took over half of the shed, covering the walls, floor, and several objects. Okay, you just got to burn that down. You can't. There's no fixing that. It's like that. You guys ever seen that video in Texas of the guy somewhere in Texas? I'm sure it's in Texas. That somebody said, we think we have some rattlesnakes under our house. Oh. And then the rattlesnake hunter got over there and he went under the house. I mean, there were 100 or more. Go Google that video because it's crazy.
Put it in the show notes.
Yeah, well, I don't remember. I think it was Texas. I just know showing it to, my exterminator guy, his name's Steve. He prides himself on being a killer, and we text funny stuff sometimes. He's very funny. And he'll spray my dock or the house or whatever once or twice a year. And I said, would you go in there for the snake thing? He said, no, that's where I'd have to quit. Like, he's not afraid of spiders and insects and all, hornet, and nothing but snakes. He draws a line with that many rattlesnakes. He said, I'm always afraid when I have to go in people's crawl spaces because I don't know what's like. He goes, I don't mind like a raccoon or something. How can you mind? They're adorable. Nature's bandits. Here's a sad little piece of information. This isn't really update. This is a new little piece of information. Siegfried Fischbacher, namesake partner in the iconic entertainment duo of Siegfried and Roy, has died in Las Vegas at age 81. Siegfried and Roy, when I first started working in Las Vegas as a young person, they were all that at everything at the Mirage. And like, I went down there to look at the White Tigers. I was not working at the Mirage at the time. I think I was working at the Tropicana in a comedy club. I wasn't like in a theater deal. So I had zero money. But what was funny, I took a picture of it, it said on the Tropicana thing outside, I was really excited because I'd never seen my name like up on a thing, but it said Kathleen Madigan, and then right below it, it said all you can eat, $9.99. So it looked like you could just eat my entire body for $10. And then after that, it said prime rib. But anyway, they were such a thing. And I remember the night it happened because I wasn't at the Mirage and I wasn't at the show. And I had seen the show, and it was, I don't even like magic. Full disclosure, kind of hate magic. Because I know it's a trick. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it because people get too mad. They get too upset. But it's just not my thing. Occasionally, I've seen a few at the Comedy Magic Club in Los Angeles where I'm like, okay, that was great. But a lot of it, I find it to be repetitive. But these guys know because they have big giant lions and tigers. And I think they had an elephant. And I know that's all now. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that because of, you know, all the rules and everything. But the show was... If I was going to go see one show back then, and I got in for free, thank God they let me hang out in the back because the tickets were like $150, which I would not have been able to afford. It was worth it. I mean, it was really something. But the night that it happened, two of my friends were down there. They were blackjack dealers, and for whatever reason, they had gone down there. And after the guy got bitten by the tiger, so I guess they used to have a deal in their act where he'd say hello to the audience, Monty Core. And he gives Monty Core the mic, and then Monty Core will go, Wah. It was like, that was crazy, right? It was great. But one night, Monty Core just went, like kind of, and then he slapped him. And then he got dizzy. This is actually what happened. And he fell backwards, and then Monty Core, the white tiger, grabbed him by the neck. He was down on the floor and took him off stage. Like, now some people say he was trying to help him. Yeah. The one trainer was like, oh, he was trying to help him because he thought he was down like a cub would fall down. Maybe. I don't know Monty Core's intentions, and I don't think anyone's ever going to know what Monty Core's intentions were. No. But whatever the case, one guy stood up and said, is the show over? Sir, you just watched a full-grown man get eaten by a 1,000-pound white tiger. Yeah, that's the closer. They don't have anything else. Unless we're going to let the other one get eaten by a white tiger. And I think that these two were a couple. They never officially announced that, but it was, everybody knew that. So he's very upset, even if it's just his friend or boyfriend or whatever, partner. Whatever the case, he's very upset that that Roy has been, whichever one got eaten. Siegfried died Wednesday at his home of pancreatic cancer. The news was first reported by the German news agency DPA because they were German. They were actual Germans. Not a lot of people know that. His longtime partner on and off the strip, Roy Horn, died of complications of COVID. He was 75, and he just died not that long ago, like 2 months ago. He was 2003, he was critically injured. Yeah, so I would have been working at the Tropicana, I think. Maybe the Improv. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And a statement announced from the moment we met. They started doing cruise ships, and then they met each other on a cruise ship. Kind of interesting. And then what's his face? The one said, "Why don't we get a cheetah?" And they got a cheetah. And somehow you could bring a cheetah on a cruise ship. I'm not sure what kind of paperwork you need for that. But they did it. And then that's how they started the whole show. And now they're both dead. And it's very sad. And I don't think there's no more tigers at the Mirage. They took them home, I think. Literally. I mean, so there you go. That's sad. Now they're both dead. That's the end of that. Okay.
Thanks.
Well, just keeping up. This is kind of crazy. I thought this was crazy. Wealthy SweetN Low. We all know SweetN Low. The pink packages. Mm-hmm. Magnet. Donald Tober leaps to his death from a New York City apartment.
What?
Mm-hmm. He was Donald Tober, CEO and co-owner of the New York-based 14,000 employee Sugar Foods. That's who makes it. Leapt to his death after just 5 a.m. Friday. He was found in the courtyard of a luxury Upper East Side building between 65th and 66th Streets. He was struggling with Parkinson's disease. He was 89 years old. Now, this is where I was like, really? At 89? I don't know how I feel about jumping off. I checked it out. They were on the 11th floor.
Oh.
Like, he's a multi-bazillionaire. This man made $1 bazillion, and that's with my mother stealing half of his profits. There's not been a place we haven't gone where my mom hasn't stolen some pink packs of SweetN Low. Her whole purse is actually made of SweetN Low. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I forget, and then your dad wants it, or I want it. I go, you don't have to justify your stealing to me, Mom. You do. You run your own crime ring.
You do you.
Yeah, you do you. You steal fried chicken from the buffet, I ain't looking. I don't care. Yeah. It's kind of interesting, though. He's the one who put it in little pink packets, and then this is the craziest part, because I Googled it. I had no idea. If you think about it, if you're old like me, SweetN Low wasn't around when we were little, and then all of a sudden it just appeared, right? Fake sugar. From the very beginning, I've always just used real sugar. I don't use the fake stuff, and maybe it will help you lose weight, but I don't use a lot of sugar in my coffee, and I think that shit, now I would say this while I was smoking cigarettes, Let me tell you what, that shit's gonna kill you. I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all. That's got chemicals in it, as I just inhale more strychnine. SweetN Low, there have been 5 billion packets produced, and I'd say Vicky Madigan has stolen 1 million. So there you have it. But here's how it was discovered in 1878. Saccharin was discovered. It wasn't until decades later when it became. Here's how it got mainstream, though. I did not know this. Okay. In 2005, Cumberland Packing Corporation made a sponsorship deal with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, which at the time was about ready for 2006 spy comedy remake of The Pink Panther. As a result, the Pink Panther animated character himself had his appearance in 2 promotional commercials, one for the 2006 film and the other for the remake sequel, The Pink Panther 2, and on the sweetener's iconic pink packages and its box packaging. So the Pink Panther was on the stuff, and then everybody was like, oh, what's that? The name SweetN Low derives from an 1863 song by Sir Joseph Barnby, which took both its title and lyrics from an Alfred Lord Tennyson poem entitled The Princess SweetN Low. So there you go. Now you know it. Now you know how it got popular. Now you know. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an assignment. Here's the assignment. Okay. So for you guys, I'm going to quit saying it, but in my act, not the Bothering Jesus special. I think the one before that. I had to go back and look. But I do a big thing about the villages in Florida. And my parents went down there for a few years and stayed there for a while. They're not there anymore. There were some incidents I'll tell you about next time, mostly involving Jack, not Vicky, of my parents. And there's a new documentary. So if you want to know, because next week I'm going to talk about this a lot. So if you want to be on the same page, you can get it on Amazon Prime. I think you got to pay $6. I don't know. But it's a documentary about the villages, and they call it Stunning. And shit, I have all this. Some Kind of Heaven. You guys write that down? Some Kind of Heaven. A stunning directorial debut and kind of work far more experienced directors would have been proud to make. It's a young guy. He's like in his 20s that goes down there. And I'm not that I could ever make a documentary, but I always thought someone should, and I'm glad he did. So go watch that if you have an hour. It's an hour and like 20 minutes long this week. And then we're going to talk about the villages because it's funny, but it's also kind of deep. So that's your assignment. Here's another one that makes me laugh. Staples is trying to buy Office Depot again for $2.1 billion. How many? Staples already owns Office Max. They were denied the chance 2 other times by the federal board of whomever.
Office Supplies Commission.
Right. The federal, you know who? There should be a federal Department of Ink. Fucking highway robbery on the ink. And now I'm getting emails from Ink Pixie. I don't even know what that is, and I've never, but this is how I am spending money for you people. You know how much ink I use? Because I'm old and I need to print this shit out because otherwise I'd just be staring at a computer screen and nobody wants to watch that. It's more fun when I have papers and a lighter and beer and candles. Anyway, office supply stores are, the Office Depot by my house, I find it a little creepy, scary. There's 0 employees. Like you walk in and there's just like a desk that's fallen over they're out of most shit. Like, it almost looks looted, and then people left. And then occasionally, like, I was way in the back looking for, like, notebooks and stuff. And a dude in a vest pops out and goes, "Can I help you?" And then I thought, this is how people disappear. He's going to kill me right here. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. No one would think, hey, I bet Kathleen ran up to Office Max Depot. They're just, it's a shit show. Staples buying one of the, to me, it's like Sprint and T-Mobile. It's like two homeless people combine their shopping cart. It's still a bunch of shit. And I have Sprint. And it is getting better. I will give them that. But I don't know why I signed up for Sprint, just because it went with the Galaxy or whatever. It was easy. I don't care about all that stuff. But $2 billion. Office Depot's stock went off the charts again because they offered them way more than it's worth. And I thought, well, how much is it going to cost Staples to go in? Now, I don't even really think Staples is run that well. Because I think Mitt Romney was part of Staples. I have to go look that up. But I used to tweet him when I lived in Los Angeles, because the Staples by my house never had stuff. Just out. Like paper. Like shit, that's the only thing you advertise is like ink and paper. They'd have like 2 computers. Office Depot is worse though, I think, by me. Anyway, this could be different in different areas. But the Office Depot by me, I feel sorry for, like, there's 2 employees, if you can find them. Sometimes I think I could just mail shit on my own in their little FedEx department, because nobody's back there and I know how to do it. Just put it on the scale and do it. And then put the thing and tape it and leave it and hope a FedEx guy shows up.
Take this.
Yeah. Staples is offering $40 a share, roughly 60% premium over the closing price for the last 90 trading days. Even the furniture in there, they have office furniture in Office Depot. It's like broken or not fully put together. I'm gonna have to look up who runs Office Depot. No one, it appears, but that's a little incoming. All right, we're gonna leave you with my mystery. It's not really a mystery, kind of. Interesting though. I've always kind of been fascinated with the dire wolf, and then Game of Thrones made the dire wolf super popular because it would be kind of cool, I think, to see a giant wolf like that, and then if you could train it and have it as your dog, how awesome would that be, right? One of North America's most famous predators, the favorite of Game of Thrones fans, emerged as mysteriously as it disappeared. Dire wolves, which died out with mammoths and saber-toothed cats at the end of the last ice age, were long thought to be cousins of the gray wolves. Now, this is interesting. First analysis of dire wolf DNA finds that they instead traveled a lonely evolutionary path. They are so different from other wolves, coyotes, and dogs that they don't even belong in the genus, and that includes these mammals. Instead, researchers argue they need an entirely new scientific classification. It's a fascinating study that reveals just how distinct dire wolves are, says Robert Dundes, a vertebrate paleontologist an expert on the animals at Cal State University, Fresno, who was not involved with the work. Archaeologists know dire wolves that lived in North America about 250,000 to 13,000 years ago. They were about 20% bigger than today's gray wolves. I thought they were bigger than that. The size of their skeletons often give them away, and like other wolves, they probably traveled in packs, hunting down bison, ancient horses. What's an ancient horse? Ancient horses. And perhaps even small mammoths and mastodons. Many followed their prey into the sticky asphalt, which are now LA's, the La Brea tar pits. And they were trapped for the ages. Yep. I didn't see any there. I went there. Huh. I missed that.
You didn't see any dire wolf?
No. I didn't see, no. Hundreds of dire wolf skulls line the walls of the museum.
Because they're dead.
No, I mean, their skulls line the walls of the museum. I don't know. Maybe I saw it and thought it was just a regular wolf. But that's where most of the knowledge stops, because the skeletons of dire wolves are similar to the gray wolves. The two animals were considered closely related. Scientists have long classified dire wolves as Canis Darius, putting them in the same category as gray wolves, coyotes, and dogs. But one thing that could have sealed the deal, the dire wolf DNA has been broken down by the tar pits, by the tar of the pits. okay, so that's where they're getting the DNA. In the new study, they scoured North America trying to extract genetic samples from dozens of dire wolves' remains at universities and museums. They recovered about 1/4 of the nuclear genome and the full mitochondrial DNA across 5 individuals, ranging in age, but that wasn't enough. The surprise that dire wolves occupy their own lineage, separate from those that gave rise to African jackals. Wow, they're not even a jackal. A gray wolf, coyotes, and dogs nearly 6 million years ago, the team reports. Even though they look like wolves, dire wolves actually have nothing to do with wolves.
Really?
Yep, wow. It's crazy. I'm going to get to what they look like. They're not even in the category of foxes and jackals, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, one second. Okay, so this is what they would have looked like. Living in the warmer latitudes of North America, giving them more traits more common to canids and other animals in these climates, such as a red fur, bushy tail, and more rounded ears. As such, she said, dire wolves may have resembled a giant reddish coyote. So, yeah. These animals are not mythological beasts. They lived among us not that long ago. The world was full of creatures we will never see again.
Like an Irish wolfhound.
The Irish wolfhound's skinny, though.
I know, but they look like that.
And there are tons of animals that aren't here anymore. And then sometimes I think of James Gregory. Who's James Gregory? An older comedian who has always billed himself the funniest man in the South. And sometimes I remember when I was super young, though, like 25, he was on stage in Atlanta at the Comic Cafe, and he goes, "I'm so sick of animal rights activists. We can't protect anything, nor do we want to. My God, if they had it their way, there'd be dinosaurs shitting on Madison Avenue." It was funny at the time. He's a funny man. If you ever see James Gregory, you probably won't if you don't live in the South. But if you see him come around, you should go. He's funny. And he's super fun. He's a fun guy, too. All right. It's time for football now. Go Chiefs. Why? Because I'm from Missouri. Go Chiefs. I did cheer for the Packers over whoever they beat yesterday solidly.
The Rams.
The Rams, right.
Because you hate them.
I hate the Rams. Why? Because of Stan Kroenke. Who's Stan Kroenke? The man who owns the Rams. People are like, "Oh, are you over it yet? Are you still mad at Stan?" Yeah. Just like Stevie Nicks. I will follow you down till the sound of my voice will haunt you. Do you hope the Rams win? Do you cheer for them now? No, I don't. And then I said, and I probably shouldn't have said it in print, that not only did I hope the Rams lose, I hoped Stan Kroenke. It's just Stan, not the players on the Rams. They seem fine and nice people, I'm sure. Just Stan, because he's from Missouri. He's married to a Walmart. Yeah, he hooked up one of the Walmart ladies. That's his wife. That's why he has his own money, but now they have more money than Earthlings. They have more money than aliens. If somebody from California came and bought the Rams, you go, well, it was their team to start with. I get that. But for a Missouri person to take them out of Missouri and take them to LA, and you're old anyway, and you just want to be more famous and part of that club, and yeah. So I don't really wish ill will on the players. But yeah, I hope Stan. Well, I'm not going to repeat what I said, and I said it in print, and I shouldn't have, and I wasn't even drinking. But I really don't like the man, and so I can't root for him, any success. So I did root for the Packers.
Because you love Green Bay.
I do love Green Bay, and I've had more fun in the state of Wisconsin, I would say, than probably, let me think.
Minnesota's a pretty good second.
Minnesota's a good second. Michigan's always fun. But Wisconsin, I just tend to go crazy, and I never regret it. There's a bar in Green Bay, St. Brendan's, that's so close to an actual Irish bar. It would be very dangerous for me to live near there. I can't, because I just would go, I'd eat too much, I'd drink too much. It's so fun.
The mayor of St. Brendan's.
I could be the mayor of St. Brendan's, and I could live there because they have rooms attached. It's like an old-timey Irish bed and breakfast. I could just live there, and then I could really be the town drunk. Anyway, good luck to your teams if you're into football. If you're not, hockey started. Are you into that? It's going to be hard because they're not playing in the bubble, so they think there's going to be a lot of COVID players running around, which will suck for them. But alas,
Have your parents got the vaccine?
My parents have still not gotten the vaccine. Update, Jack and Vicky, no vaccine. Now, I think they should drive back to Missouri from Florida and try there. Then people on my fan page, by the way, on the facial book, somebody told my parents another place to register, which I appreciate very much. I think the person's name was Stacy. I'll find out, give a shout out, because that was awfully nice. So they've registered in some other county. I don't know. They're 79. Isn't that old enough? I mean, I think, right? No. We try every day. They have 7 children, including myself. We all go online at 2:45 Central. And, no, 1:45. Yeah, Central. 2:45 their time. And we get in the waiting room online, and then it usually comes up with, we don't have any more vaccines, check back tomorrow. And then the few times that it did come up, there weren't that many, and they just flew off the shelves. And, you know, I said to my parents, well, welcome to my world, trying to get a Florence and the Machine ticket on Ticketmaster. This is how it rolls, Jack and Vicky. A lot of spinning, a lot of waiting rooms, and then boom, all sold out.
No spinning.
Okay, termites, have a good week. And hope it's not freezing wherever you are. I'm going to go call my friend Bob back, and then finish my beer, get ready for some football. First game, Cleveland at Kansas City, right. Chiefs. I never think of them as an early game. I always think of the Chiefs as a late game. I don't know why.
Can you talk about your love for Tommy Salami?
I don't have a love for Tom Brady. I just think it's something to see. It's the same way I feel about Tiger Woods. I don't have a love for Tiger, but it's something to see if you can keep coming back and keep coming back and keep kicking people's asses. It's something to watch that I don't think will happen again in my lifetime. I don't think there's going to be another golfer as dominant as Tiger, and I don't think there's going to be another quarterback as dominant as Tom. And let me tell you what, those the Tom Brady fans, like I'm looking at it from afar. My heart is not involved in this, but shoo, buddy, those are some loyalists. I mean, I really think Tom Brady could be like 74, and there would still be people in Boston going, I don't see why he can't play. Get him out there. Come on, Tom. Tom's great. He's so smart. He's so smart. It doesn't matter he's in a wheelchair.
He's wicked smart.
He's wicked smart. He can do it from a wheelchair. He already said his arm's fine. He's got the electric wheelchair. He rolls back, stay in the pocket. I swear to God, I think they would go along with it. He doesn't even care if it's cold. He can't feel most of anything anymore. His circulation's bad, but he can throw. It's still a wicked pass. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
Running game's weird.
Yeah. They had a lot of they had to go out and had to recruit a lot of runners because we need a lot of running backs because that's my potato chip bag. Is that annoying you? All right, termites. Ooh, looks like snow's coming. That's a snow cloud. That's it. Night-night, termites. We'll see you next time.